Hello, my name is Xander, and I am an MLT, or a medical laboratory technologist. Today I'm going to share with you why test results might take a longer time than you think. So I think the first thing to say is that there definitely are a whole lot of factors that go into getting a test from the doctor's office to the lab and then the result back to you. There are jobs that go into, like there are jobs dedicated to making this process as efficient, as clean, as safe as possible for the surrounding people. And major factor that also goes into it is the type of test we're gonna do. So if the doctor orders a very specialized test, that might get sent out to a lab that specializes in that, just because that equipment could be very expensive, or that requires extremely trained professionals that only focus on that. So it also kind of depends on the test. So the first step is in the doctor's office. So the doctor will order some tests and they'll collect a sample. Maybe it's not the doctor, it might be a nurse, phlebotomist, whatever. So let's take a blood tube, for example. So they'll collect that blood tube, and that blood tube is what's going to be tested. So, which brings us to step 2 already. The blood tube will be sitting there in the doctor's office until a courier comes to pick it up. So the courier comes on scheduled times. There's not always like one waiting to go. I wish it was like that. Everything would be super quick. But there's scheduled times for the courier to come. So the courier will come at 2 p.m. So your blood was collected at 1 p.m. So it's just sitting there for an hour or so. And then the courier will come and pick it up. So step 3, the courier brings it to the lab. So the courier has to go between different sites. So it's not just your doctor's office. There could be 4 or 5 other doctor's offices that the courier will go to, pick up those samples, and then take it to the lab to be tested. So that could be another hour or so of traveling between those labs. Sorry, those doctor's office to the lab. And then the courier also can't fly, unfortunately, so they have to go through traffic they encounter, so that could be another delay. So once the courier makes it to the lab, it brings us step 4, where we receive the specimen and we process it. So in this stage, we're looking at the specimen, we're determining if the integrity of the specimen is good, which entails just matching the requisition to what your doctor ordered with the actual specimen. So was the right specimen collected? So for example, if the doctor wants to look at your blood, but we receive a stool specimen, that doesn't really work out because we can't test your blood. All we have is your stool. So that sort of thing. And so that usually doesn't take a long time unless they didn't collect it properly. Then we would speak to your doctor and say, hey, this one's not collected properly. We need you to recollect or redo it in this way. So that could delay the test a little bit farther. So now that brings us to step 5, which is testing the sample. So testing the sample really depends on what type of test your doctor ordered. So some tests take 20 minutes, very quick. Other tests take days. An example would be a complete blood count, which gives the doctor insight in basically your circulatory system, so your blood components. That result comes out pretty quickly in comparison to something like a throat swab. So in a throat swab, typically we will be looking for Streptococcus pyogenes, which causes strep throat. So what we do is when we receive that swab that's like that is swabbed at the back of your throat, we will put it on agar plates. Agar is just kind of like gel, and we'll put it in an incubator and see if anything grows. If something does grow, we will identify it to see if it is the bacteria Streptococcus pyogenes. If so, then it's positive and you have strep throat. If not, and then nothing grows, then you don't, most likely. So after we get those, the growth or the complete blood count, we have to give that result back to your doctor. So that's step 6. So step 6 is giving the result to your doctor. So after we've tested and analyzed the result, we have to give the results to your doctor. So usually this is done electronically. I think very rarely it's done by paper. If it is, it's usually done electronically, then printed out, then faxed, which sounds a little bit inefficient, but that's kind of the way the medical world works. So until that changes, that's the way it is. But yeah, so it's done electronically, so we'll send the results, and then the physician will provide you with the results. So I hope you found that a little bit informative. I know it's kind of all over the place. I just did this video after a night shift, which probably isn't the best idea. I really hope that this video gave you some insight. If you have any comments, please feel free to write them down, or questions. I would love to answer them in the next video, and I hope to make some more videos later on. Hit the like button, I guess, if you enjoyed this video, and I hope everyone stays safe and healthy.